Not every journey follows the path of light. Some, like the story you're about to hear, are marked by the sharp turns of fate and the choices that lead down a darker road. Today, we unravel the life of Winston Brown, known to the world as Ranking Dread, a man who once embraced the rhythm of reggae but abandoned it for a life shrouded in crime. This is the tale of a man who abandoned reggae and sought a criminal career, where music and misdeeds collide, leaving a legacy both unforgettable and tragic. Although he found some musical success in the early 80s with his track, Fatty Boom Boom, his infamy grew due to his involvement in criminal activities, earning him the title of Britain's most dangerous man and the so-called Yardie Godfather. Ranking Dread, born Winston Brown in 1955, carried over 20 aliases, including Robert Blackwood, Michael Dix, Errol Codling, and Boyark. He first arrived in the UK in 1978 and quickly integrated into the East London scene, frequenting the Four Aces Club in Dalston, run by Lloyd Coxon of the Sir Coxon sound system. Before his move to London, Ranking Dread had already made a name for himself in Jamaica's music circuit with the race symbolic sound system during the 1970s. In 1978, Ranking Dread released his debut album Girls Fiesta, followed by the popular single Fatty Boom Boom in 1980. Unfortunately, his career in music was short-lived, and by the mid-80s, he had shifted his focus to less savory pursuits. By 1987, British authorities, including Scotland Yard and the National Drugs Intelligence Unit, NDIU, had identified several West Indian crime figures aiming to dominate criminal activity in Britain, with Ranking Dread high on their list. He was reportedly involved in everything from narcotics trafficking to running prostitution rings and alleged contract life-taking. Before fleeing to the UK, Ranking Dread was believed to have played a significant role in Jamaica's political violence, operating as an enforcer for the Jamaican Labour Party, JLP, under Don Claude Mossop. Mossop's posse, based in Kingston's Rema, Tivoli Gardens, and Denham Town neighborhoods, eventually evolved into the feared Shower Posse, a group closely linked to drug-related violence. Ranking Dread, also known as Boyark, was suspected of involvement in numerous unaliving of rival dealers, particularly those aligned with the opposing People's National Party, PNP. Ranking Dread's escape to London came after he jumped bail in Jamaica following a police officer launching. Using the alias Errol Codling, he avoided extradition and established a base of operations in Stamford Hill. His reputation quickly spread through the black communities of North and South London, from Stoke Newington to Brixton, where he built criminal networks stretching from Nottingham to New York. Despite his attempts to go unnoticed, Ranking Dread's run-ins with the law persisted. In 1983, he was deported from the U.S. after a cannabis possession conviction. Back in London, he expanded his criminal empire, opening drinking clubs, running a prostitution network, and organizing drug shipments. His violent reputation only grew when he became the prime suspect in the unaliving of Nigerian drug dealer Innocent Egbilfew, who was allegedly thrown from an 8th-story window in Islington after selling Ranking Dread a fake batch of marijuana. The circumstances of Egbilfew's death were shocking. He reportedly fell so fast that he still clutched his television remote. By 1988, Ranking Dread's notoriety reached new heights when the Cook Report, an investigative TV show, accused him of leading Shower Posse operations in the UK. Host Roger Cook confronted him on a busy London street, where Ranking Dread calmly denied the allegations. Despite his criminal clout, Ranking Dread was not immune to rival attacks. One incident involved a British-born teenager wielding a machete, seeking to usurp his criminal interests in a London shebeen. Ranking Dread's survival of such attacks was often attributed to his belief in obeah, a folk magic derived from West African traditions. Many in his circle believed that these rituals provided protection even in life-threatening situations. However, not even mystical beliefs could shield Ranking Dread from the law's reach, as his life of crime eventually caught up with him. On April 14, 1988, law enforcement carried out a major raid at a run-down building on Clapton Way, East London. Owned by Hackney Council, the property had become a hub for organized crime, particularly the distribution of illegal substances like illegal substance. After weeks of surveillance, a team of 32 officers launched a surprise operation at the location, resulting in the arrest of 20 individuals, including the notorious Ranking Dread. The police recovered a number of weapons, including a machete, along with quantities of cannabis and illegal substance. However, no firearms or crack illegal substance were found during the raid. Operating under the alias Errol Codling, Ranking Dread was brought before magistrates in Highbury, North London, and charged with drug possession with intent to distribute. Despite the severity of the accusations, he was granted bail, along with 3 of his associates from Stoke Newington, Pinch, and Balham, who faced similar charges. A few months after the Clapton Way raid, tragedy struck. Ranking Dread's close friend, Rohan Yardaran Barrington Barnett, was unalive during a shootout in Harlesden, northwest London. The scene bore striking similarities to the unsolved case of Henry Gingell Laws, who had been unalived in a drive-by shooting on June 14, 1999, in the same area. At Barnett's crime scene, investigators discovered spent shell casings from 3 different high-caliber firearms, including a 9mm, reinforcing the belief that the incident was linked to Yardie violence. Despite the public nature of the crime, authorities struggled to find any witnesses, and the unaliving was attributed to a drug-related feud. Much of the violence perpetuated by the Yardie gangs, unfortunately, affected the local black community. A similar scenario played out during a dance party, where 27-year-old Mark Bernald was fatally shot. Although the launching occurred off-camera, the venue was filled with people. Yet when police arrived, 300 witnesses claimed they had all been in the restroom at the time of the unaliving. By November 8, 1988, the British government opted not to pursue drug charges against Ranking Dread. Instead, officials from the Home Office arranged for his deportation. He was flown back to Jamaica, escorted by 2 Scotland Yard detectives. However, his time in Jamaica would be short-lived. In July 1989, Ranking Dread fled to Toronto, where he faced a 12-month prison sentence for assaulting a police officer. His troubles continued after being deported from the United States. In 1990, he was arrested in Canada for reportedly slashing his girlfriend's face with a sharp object. He had entered the country using a fake passport and sought refugee status, claiming that his life was in danger due to his political ties in Jamaica. After a series of deportations and legal battles, Ranking Dread was finally sent back to Jamaica in November 1992. He spent his remaining years in a Jamaican prison, where he passed away in 1996, closing the chapter on a life that spanned music, violence, and international crime. Ranking Dread's life serves as a cautionary tale of what happens when the beats of success give way to the shadows of crime. From reggae rhythms to the most dangerous corners of the criminal underworld, his story reminds us that no matter how far you run, the choices we make define us. Thank you for watching a man who abandoned reggae and sought a criminal career. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Stay inspired, stay mindful, and remember, it's never too late to rewrite your own story.